Let me tell you something real. Most people think you need a mountain of cash to see the world. But I learned the hard way that sometimes being broke is what truly teaches you how big and how kind the world really is. This is a story of how I started a journey with nothing but a backpack, one pair of shoes, and a sense of faith that was heavier than everything I carried. I remember that day like it was yesterday, standing at the bus station, a knot of fear tightening in my stomach. A voice in my head kept screaming, "What are you doing, man? You don't even have money for next week, let alone another country." But the truth is, I wasn't running away from home. I was running towards something bigger, something that just didn't fit inside the same streets I grew up on, the same routine, the same expectations. I needed to know what else was out there, beyond the horizon I saw every day. So I got on that bus, hungry, scared. But for the first time in my life, I felt completely and utterly free. The engine roared to life, and with it, a new chapter of my story began, one without a script or a safety net. Those first few nights were a brutal introduction to my new reality. I slept wherever I could find a relatively safe space, on cold, hard bus benches under flickering streetlights, huddled next to train stations where the noise of late-night arrivals became my lullaby, and a few times on the dusty floor of a hostel lobby after the owner took pity on me and let me stay after closing. Was it easy? Absolutely not. Every morning I'd wake up stiff, cold, and with a deep ache in my bones. But every single sunrise taught me the same powerful lesson. Sometimes the world isn't comfortable, but it still welcomes you. The sun doesn't ask if you have a home before it warms your face. That simple, daily act of nature felt like a promise that I was right where I needed to be. When you're broke abroad, you quickly learn to use the only currency you've got left. A smile, a little bit of courage, and the ability to ask for help without shame. Your pride is the first thing to go, and that's a good thing. I walked into countless restaurants, my stomach growling, and asked if they needed help washing dishes for a plate of food. I swept floors. I carried heavy boxers for shopkeepers. I offered to do any odd job I could find. Some folks paid me a few coins, just enough for a piece of bread. Others didn't have money to give, but they shared their own lunch with me. Everybody, and I mean everybody, taught me something. I'll never forget one old man, a farmer with hands as tough as leather, who looked at me and said, "A traveler with no money still has a million roads to choose from." And in that moment, I believed him with every fiber of my being. After about 2 weeks of this hand-to-mouth existence, I finally figured out the real secret to survival on the road. It isn't about money at all. It's about exchange. It's about understanding that your time, your energy, and your willingness to work are valuable assets. You don't survive by what's in your wallet. You survive by what you can offer. I learned to trade my labor for the essentials: work for food, work for a bed, work for a bus ride. To the next town, I found a new world of opportunity opened up when I started looking for ways to contribute. I volunteered on organic farms, picking vegetables under the hot sun. I helped cook in village kitchens, learning recipes I couldn't even pronounce. I cleaned rooms in hostels, taught English basics to kids in a small rural school. I went anywhere that needed an extra pair of hands. Sometimes my payment was a hot meal. Sometimes it was a warm blanket on a cold night. And sometimes the only thing they gave me was a smile and a word of encouragement. But that was more than enough. That was hope. From a distance, looking at a map, the world can seem like a big, dangerous, and intimidating place. But that illusion shatters the moment you sit at someone's dinner table. It disappears when a family gives you the last piece of bread they have, even when you can see they barely have enough for themselves. That's when you understand, deep in your soul, that this world isn't built on money, or borders, or politics. It's built on kindness. It's built on the simple, profound human connection between people who believe that a stranger, a traveler, deserves a chance. I met families who lived in tiny, humble homes, but had hearts bigger than any mansion. They shared everything they had without a second thought. Their generosity wasn't just about food or shelter. It was a lifeline. It was their kindness that kept me alive, that refueled my spirit when I was ready to give up. Those strangers weren't just strangers. They became my family on the road. Traveling broke does something to you. It humbles you in a way nothing else can. It breaks your ego down into tiny little pieces until all that is left is your most authentic self. It forces you to see what really, truly matters in life. When I finally looked in a mirror after months on the road, I barely recognized the person staring back. The scared, anxious boy who left home with so much doubt was gone. In his place was someone who knew, without a shadow of a doubt, how strong he was. I saw someone who had survived without a single dollar to his name, but had found immeasurable riches in every conversation, every shared meal, every lesson learned, and every act of kindness. That's a wealth you can't carry in a bank account. So if you're sitting there right now, watching this, dreaming of traveling but staring at your empty pockets, please listen to me. You don't have to be rich to see the world. You just have to be brave enough to start. That's the hardest step. After that, the road itself will teach you what you need to know. People will feed you. Love will find you in the most unexpected places. And survival, you already know how to do that. You're more resilient than you think. Sometimes the journey you take with empty pockets is the one that fills your heart the most. I survived abroad with $0, and trust me, you are so much stronger than you think. Thanks for listening to my story. If it resonated with you, consider subscribing for more.